Welcome back. Thank you as ever, everyone, for getting in touch, sharing your thoughts and opinions. The best place to do so, comments section below. And if you have a longer story made with some pictures, you can email hi@tuesday@dobbs.com. We're going to begin with a topic I've never covered before, a topic I've never considered covering before, and a topic I didn't even know existed. Motorcycle helmet weight. This is from Tony in South Wales. Dear Freddie, as a new rider I bought my first helmet. It's an HJC I100 modular style helmet. I'm not sure, but I believe the weight of it is causing me very bad headaches from compressing my spine and neck. Is this a common thing? I don't get headaches ever, and it only ever happens when I put this helmet on. I love the helmet with the technology it has and the ability to fit a Bluetooth system, which I do intend to do along with a high tail for my newly grown lockdown long hair, which is another problem I've found. Is there a helmet that is similar to this with features but not too heavy that you can recommend? I really don't want to give this helmet up, but I fear that I've got no choice if it's down to the weight. Tony, South Wales. Tony, I will say one thing immediately. When I read this, I thought immediately, ditch the helmet, get rid of it. Because there are just some types of biking gear that don't agree with certain individuals. And for whatever reason, it may be simply the weight, this doesn't agree with you. Get rid of it, because anything that's uncomfortable will destroy your riding experience and just stop you from enjoying riding, and also stop you from going out on your bike. So cut your losses, put it onto eBay or Facebook Marketplace, and I would be selling that immediately, because nothing you can do with that helmet will make you like it and make it agreeable for you. Have a look at this though. This is my exclusive Rage shiny black helmet. Very simple. Nothing fancy and nothing technological, so no flip up front, no clever bits of trickery around it. And for motorcycle helmets, the more complex they are, the heavier they are. The more stuff they have to accommodate, for example, flip up lids, it's just going to add weight everywhere. So if you're buying a flip up helmet, translated to modular helmet, the companies making these helmets, they have to be ingenious with the materials they use. So Tony, you're probably going to be looking at carbon fiber helmets to be able to get down to somewhere near the weight of this helmet, which I think is perfectly acceptable. I found you one, Tony. Take a look at this AGV Sport Modular Carbon Adjustable Helmet. I think this is the first ever sports helmet that is a flip up, and the weight is 1,347 grams. That's only about 100 grams heavier than this helmet. And that looks like it's just about the lightest helmet from the modular section. So I would go and check out that. Put your one on Facebook Marketplace, buy one of those. They're currently £483 at agv.com. And it's a massive, massive sale at the moment. I think it's about £207 discount. They've got 30% discount off at AGV Direct. So go and check out one of those. It's a full carbon fiber construction. So the shell, the flip up, chin guard, all of it. It's legit. Everything about it will be top level. And the difference it makes for weight, that is 2.5 kilos. That is 1.2 kilos. There's a difference of 1.2 kilos here. But if I think about that level of difference, around about a kilo, something like that, 1.2 kilos on my head, that is a massive amount of weight difference. So even that 700 gram weight difference between my helmet and your helmet, Tony, I can just imagine that extra weight sitting on my head. It's not insignificant. So check out a lighter one and it will transform your riding experience. On to the Triumph Street Triple 675. This is from Grant. Pictures attached. Freddie, I bought my Triumph Street Triple 675R 2013 model as my second big boy bike. after running a Kawasaki R5 for a year or so. Safe to say, the change-up was incredible and the feeling was unreal getting to grips with the triple. I instantly checked out some YouTube videos which truly inspired me and made me realise I hadn't taken my bike further than Sussex. I live in Kent near Rochester, so I've booked my first day trip to the land of baguettes and garlic to take in some sea views down in Le Touquet. I'm not a stranger to Euro trips, many miles munched in Mazda MX-5s across the continent, and needless to say I'm very much looking forward to my first Euro biking trip. Grant, have an amazing trip. And these 675s, I don't ever really touch on these that much. But these again are bikes highly regarded by their owners. So much so, I've got a good friend called Paul in Tenerife, and I did a review on one of these bikes a couple of years ago. His bike, just 2 days ago, it hit 60,000 miles, 100,000 kilometers. So these are very, very well built, robust bikes. And I've got two friends. Both of them, I'm not joking here, both of them used to own Triumph Speed Twin 1200s. The really nice looking, retro, sporty Triumph. And both of them sold their Speed Twin 1200s to buy these 675, far, far older, far less powerful, in fact I don't know if it's far less powerful, but far smaller engine, almost half the size engine. And it's, in most people's eyes, a downgrade, at least in terms of value. And they swapped their far newer Triumphs for these older Street Triple 675s. You can pick up a Generation 1, 2007 to 2012 model, 98 horsepower, for £3,000. That's a 2010 model for £3,000. I personally think these could potentially be future classics, but I'll be completely honest, the past few years haven't been especially kind to them with regards to residuals. So this is advertised 6 days ago, £3,000, 12,000 miles done. I know some people are going to say, Freddie, that says 12,000 kilometres. Facebook, for some reason, doesn't work and always says kilometres. I promise you that's miles. But that's immaculate for £3,000. Can you get 300 quid off that? Arrow exhaust? £2,700, let's say, and you're walking away with a ridiculously good bike. Do you want something newer? You can get the facelifted version with 105 horsepower. This is a 2015 model. I didn't even see this. Listed 4 months ago. £4,250 was the original price 4 months ago, and we're now deep into biking season. I think they're slightly underappreciated at the moment as a used bike. On to Jawa. I didn't realise how unpopular these would be actually. This is in response to me showing these new Jawa motorbikes that you can buy that have been around for ages and almost completely unchanged. They cost about the same as a Royal Enfield Interceptor. And I could have read out countless negative comments about these Jawas. I'll read one. This is from Trooper64. The Jawa 350 is terrible. The brakes are crap, especially when you want to stop, which is an inconvenience. Let's take a look at these. I want to have a look. Online prices for these. These are not quick sellers. For one, they're incredibly rare online. They're not that popular, and it looks like they don't have that big a following. So actually finding one is difficult. £1,550 for a 1979 Jawa 350. But if you put this side by side with the brand new model that's currently for sale as a brand new bike, they look almost identical. Any untrained eye would have no idea which one's the new one, which one is the old one. It's like they've just carried on producing them for the past 40 years without changing them at all. And I have something that semi-confirms this. I went onto eBay and I found, listen to this, new Jawa 350 two-stroke motorcycle in the box from the Czech Republic. And this is from Velerex Jawa eBay page, so clearly they specialise in this. £5,550 or best offer, plus £1,000 postage. That is quite a lot, so clearly they're going to be shipping it straight from Czech. This is what really excited me. Interested me. Let's say that, that's better. It's a 2023 model made in the Jawa factory in Czech. The model corresponds 80% to the Jawa 350 motorcycle produced from 1984 to 1986. 80% of the bike is still exactly the same to what it was 40 years ago. They say you can choose an engine with an electric start, yada, yada, yada. Everything looks fine, but this last sentence opened my eyes. Attention, block capitals, in bold. Attention, the motorcycle does not comply with Euro 5 and it is not certified. Therefore, it cannot be registered and legally operated! Exclamation. So what do you do with it? I don't understand. It is cool to have a motorbike in a crate, but I don't know what you do with that. Someone let me know. On now to Sturgis, the Sturgis Bike Rally in the US, one of the biggest motorcycle rallies in the world. Again, this is such a polarizing motorcycle rally. Motorcycles in general, let's say Harley-Davidsons actually specifically, they are insanely polarizing. But the interesting thing is, Harley-Davidsons are more polarizing in the USA than they are the rest of the world. And it looks like the Sturgis Rally is as polarizing in the US as Harley-Davidsons are in the US. I could have listed off any one of about 20 kind of negative comments about the Sturgis Bike Rally, and I've picked 2. This is from Kevin. Freddie, without being too right on, Sturgis has a pretty sleazy side to it. A few minutes on YouTube will throw up some pretty unwholesome elements of what, at times, goes on there. Frank then continues, Sturgis is stupid expensive, rolling drunk for posers. They have no idea how to ride the motorbikes in the mountains. They ride off cliffs and curves. It's $100 to camp out on the ground. Daytona Cop Week. Come on vacation and leave on probation, as they say. $300 for tickets for revving your motorcycle, stupidly expensive as well. Poser party as well, dotted with bikes that come out once a year. Let's have a look at this. Okay, we'll start with Sturgis and the stats from last year, 2023. How bad can this be? Sturgis Bike Rally. So, last year there were 148 DUI arrests, misused drug arrests, 148, felony drug arrests, 103, total citations, 1,430. This is just from 1 year at the Sturgis Rally. Total warnings given to people, 5,288. And the cash seized, what's going on here? $4,335. There were even 4 vehicles seized. Injuries. Non-injury accidents, so accidents where no one was hurt, 45. Injury accidents, 50. And more worryingly, fatalities, 3. Sorry if you're listening on the podcast, that's me wondering what on earth goes on here. I'll do a few little readouts here, exactly what happened. Fatal crashes from Sturgis. At 6 p.m. Friday, US Highway 14A, mile marker 11, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle travelling westbound left the roadway, entered a ditch and tipped over. The driver was separated from the motorcycle. The 73-year-old male driver was not wearing a helmet and pronounced dead at the scene. Another one, the driver attempted to brake for deer entering a roadway, locked the brakes, left the roadway. The driver became separated from the motorcycle. Again, a 62-year-old rider, not wearing a helmet, pronounced dead at the scene. I could go on and on with the injury crashes list. It is seemingly endless. I can't lie, I'm a bit intrigued to go just to see what these American rallies are like, but it's very, very interesting to see the other side of the rallies. Thank you for sending me that over. On now to what you're riding. Let's start with Stephen. Motorcycle camping. Freddie, this is our camping setup. Only one single pole in the middle and only 4 kilograms and less than 100 quid. A few people have sent me these over. This is lovely with your Victory motorbike and 8 bars. That looks really good. I've had a few people sending me over these teepee style tents. Are meant to be very practical. I have to say your partner looks frozen, absolutely frozen. On now to Natalie. Freddie, I ride another one, Triumph Street Triple 765 RS, but I did manage to fit all of my camping gear on it. Just. My little bike is not quite suited to a nice big tent, so I chose a Nature Hike Cloud 2. It is a backpacking tent and it's very light at around 1.3 kilos. It's also easy to pitch with a single pole module that assembles into one H-shaped frame. It took me 10 minutes to take up and take down, easily packing it into the bag. I had a super compact sleeping bag and an inflatable camping mat too. This is interesting. Natalie sending over what it's like, the not so pleasant side of camping. I did manage an okay night's sleep, but the mattress, a 20 quid bargain from Trespass, kept deflating and the ground was oh so hard. I had to travel back early because of the mattress failure, so that was just 2 nights turning into 1. The other issue I faced was keeping the soft bag secured for the bike, or on the bike. 5 to 6 kilos of load, balanced on a tiny little pillion seat, makes things wobbly, even with 2 strong straps to fasten things down. Natalie, I think this is the one big problem I've had with camping. I like doing it as simply as possible. And the times I've camped, I never take a mattress. And it's the one thing everyone says. A mattress is essential. Number one, for the comfort of a soft mattress, but secondly, to insulate you from the ground. Because I'm always sleeping on rocky floors. It's cold and it's rock solid and you don't sleep at all. I mean, you just lie there looking up at the roof of your tent, just wishing that you could have 10 minutes of proper sleep, and it never happens. On to Paul. Freddie, couldn't fit 2 bikes in the trailer from my home in Victoria, Australia to my holiday winter house in Queensland. What a setup. So unfortunately, the Moto Guzzi V85 TT will have to wait until I get home in September. That is a brilliant life you live, Paul. Continuing, I only brought my Honda CRF 300 Rally and loving it on the trails and roads on the tablelands. Pictures, Cairns to North Queensland. These are bikes. I'm sure this is the one Itchy Boots has. I'm almost certain. You can pick one of these up for £4,750. They're not specifically a looker, but then these bikes don't really have to be. It's got 27 horsepower, 153 kilos, wet weight, so that's ready to go with all the liquids in it. And these bikes will be able to tackle anything. And they're so physically small and light that you can easily chuck it into the back of a pickup or get one of those ramps to put it on the back of a 4x4. If I had the space in a garage, I would really like to consider one of these. I bet off-roading, ripping around some dirt tracks, there is very, very little that's more fun than one of those. I've got a new champion. Highest dealer costs with regards to labour. Matt writes in, Freddie, my local BMW Motorrad labour charge in the UK is over £190 an hour, including VAT. 190. I understand that everyone has to make their money and overheads, everything is getting way more expensive, but that is a lot of money. In fact, that is so much. It almost makes you have to start considering if you could take it to that dealership, or if the bike's too complicated. It makes you start thinking loads of different things when it's 190 an hour. That's a very, very significant factor in purchasing decisions if you are planning to take it to your main dealer, because that's a lot. Fascinating, Matt. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, bike of the week, Honda. No, I've given away too much already. Let me get on it. This is from Rick. Freddie, I've been riding bikes for 45 years and I consider myself familiar with most makes and models of bikes out there. However, this week, my wife and I had a few days away in the town of Cascais, Portugal, where I came across a bike I'd never seen or even heard of before. A derivative of the Honda Goldwing, apparently. At first glance, I thought it was a custom build, so I walked over to have a look. However, on closer inspection, I saw it was a Honda Rune, a bike that has completely passed me by. It's a fantastic looking machine, from the wraparound mudguards, nacelle, apologies for my pronunciation, nacelle style headlamp, sculpted exhausts, the fancy front forks, minimalist dash, etc. Stunning machine, Rick, something even more brilliant. The bike that you've sent me a picture of, the number plate is PL. PL isn't Portugal, that's a Polish number plate, meaning the rider of this Honda Rune has very probably ridden from Poland all the way over to Portugal. So this rider properly uses the bike. This is very close to impossible to find one of these. Very, very close. I've never had a harder bike to be able to find one for sale in the UK. There is one. I've looked everywhere. No more than one. What you need to type in, either the Honda Rune or the Honda Valkyrie Rune or the Honda NRX 1800. It is indeed, Rick, you're right, based on the engine from the 1800cc Goldwing, and it was just made from 2004 to 2005. That is it, a microscopic production run. 118 horsepower. This is from the Top Speed website. This is a selling point. Quoting here, amazingly, Honda gave the design team the freedom to do whatever they wanted, and, even more surprisingly, they were told that there are no commercial constraints. The final price of the motorcycle wasn't a consideration. The outcome was a motorcycle that cost a reported, depending on where you look, I'm just adding this in because I've seen different prices, $100,000 to $150,000 each to manufacture, and which would sell for $25,000, with the shortfall of around $225 million, assuming 3,000 units were sold. So that would just be put down to marketing expenses. It was the ultimate showpiece and flagship model at the time. You could say this is expensive, but you could also say this is one of the biggest bargains in motorcycling, because the amount it costs to make one bike, Honda were making such a colossal loss just to show and say to people, look, this is what we can do. This is our engineering excellence. And the winners are the people that buy the bike, because you're getting something that really should never have been built, because it makes no financial sense at all. So if they were $25,000 back in 2004, 2005, 20 years ago, how much, where have I put this? How much are they now? One available on eBay, £22,995. So in reality, they have gone up ever so slightly since they came out all that time ago. I don't think I've ever seen another bike like it. That is engineering excellence. And this one has just 2,296 miles on the clock. It also shows you how brave that Polish rider is, riding from Poland to Portugal on a bike worth about £23,000, and probably one of the only ones, probably in Europe, full stop. We'll wrap it up there. If you fancy something expensive and very rare, Honda Rune. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Have a brilliant week all, and I'll see you all in the next one.